Afternoon. Thank you all very much for joining us. I am Karen Hollis with the City of Miramar, the Business Inclusion and Diversity Program. And as always, we are delighted to have you join us for one of our webinars. We do have Ms. Gail BIRKS that's on the line. She's going to be our keynote speaker. But one of the things that we like to do when we start all of our webinars is to give you a little information, background information about BID. So if you would allow me, Ms. Burks, I am going to be sharing my screen for a minute.
Okay.
To provide some background information on the program itself. And let us go ahead and begin because you guys were so timely to sign on. And I thank you for your patience with us as we were encountering the challenges of technology. But as you can see, along with those challenges come an ability for us to have virtual appearances and to allow you as a small business to attend our webinars and to be able to do so from the comfort of either your office or your home, which makes it so much more convenient for you as a small business to not have to close shop, to drive to the city of Miramar, or to stop your business dealings to come into the office. So we definitely value technological advancements. So as it says, I am Karen Hollis. I'm with the city of Miramar, and I am the individual that the city has entrusted to work and assist with the business inclusion and diversity initiatives for the city. Now, as it comes to BID, which is what we refer to it as, the goals and objectives of BID is to uphold the highest standards of inclusion, equal opportunity, and non-discriminatory practices by extending assistance to all firms that desire to do business with the city of Miramar. Now, that is what we desire to do. Now, we need you to know a little bit more about who we are. The BID designs change management strategies in an effort to be able to educate, connect, and help small businesses grow. We are trying to direct our attentions to local and minority businesses, preferably. BID ensures that businesses are afforded access to participate in the city's procurement process, and BID also strives to eradicate discriminatory barriers that have been identified in the disparity study that was conducted by the city of Miramar. And we do so by developing programs that advance the visions and goals of the city of Miramar. So that's who we are, and here's a little bit more about what we do. Three major components we want you to understand. First, BID provides small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses the opportunity to participate in all aspects of city contracting and purchasing programs. BID prohibits discrimination against any person or business that are in the pursuit of those opportunities, and BID implements programs and services through the BID initiatives, and we try to foster more inclusion on city projects. Now, there are a couple of tools that we put in place to be able to assist us in this process. First, there are some support systems, business support systems. We have now, speaking of technology and technological advancements, the city of Miramar has purchased what's called the B2G Now. It's a diversity software program that allows prime and sub consultants to be able to do their compliance and monitoring on the technology from a digital aspect instead of those manual paperwork and submissions that always had to be done in the past. Now all of those monitoring and compliance of participation goals can be done using technology, and it is a benefit so that, again, just like with this webinar today, all of those things can be done from the comfort of your office and or home. Also, there's a BID Academy. That's another system that we have in place, and it's to be able to foster job creation through an educated workforce. Economics, we use BidFit. We are trying to help businesses become more fit to be able to respond to all of the contracting opportunities that are being advanced and released from the procurement department and made available to businesses to take part in. And one of the things that we explore in BidFit is all of the measures that the study identified that we need to do to better equip small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses so that they can respond. They will be able to releasing information ahead of time because unlike the larger businesses, smaller businesses have a little more challenges and probably could benefit, and the study has shown can benefit from more advanced notice. those are some of the things that we do to try to help them, educating them more about what the procurement process is all about. What is an ITB, an invitation to bid? What is a RFP, a request for production? We need them to know exactly what it is that the procurement department is looking for when it releases a solicitation so that the businesses can respond adequately, which will entail and in turn position them to have a better opportunity to be successful in that bid submission. Social, we have Bid Connect, where we try to connect businesses with community stakeholders, small businesses like the one we're going to be spotlighting today that have valuable tools and services and resources that they're making available to small businesses so that you can not only get your assistance in growing and your efforts to grow your businesses from the city of Miramar, we have a myriad of community stakeholders that are doing similar, if not other measures, and we try to connect you with those measures so that it only allows you an opportunity to expand your reach in terms of what we're trying to do to grow your business. And risk and regulatory management. Bid is the BID Act was passed by the city of Miramar as of April 2021, and this is an extension from what they've done with the original bid, which were primarily then just a response, and we implemented programs at that time to respond directly to the recommendations of the disparity study. As we continue to progress the program, we implemented a BID Act, which was adopted in the city code, and it is initiatives that are being advanced to further expand additional assistance to businesses. Let's explore some of those. So some of those extended services, of course, we continue to do outreach, social impact, monitoring and compliance, policies and procedures, which have been implemented as a direct result of the BID Act, reporting, which is data management. We need to understand the benefit of the programs and whether or not they are working, and we collect data from both the end user, you being the small business, as well as the programs to be able to ensure that the measures that we're advancing are in fact effective. Career opportunities, training to empower small businesses to be able to continue to grow themselves as the business owners, which is what you're going to have a highlight and ability to do today, as well as the staff and other measures to grow your business from a fundamental standpoint. Equal access. We've implemented several programs. Before it was one-on-one meetings with Dr. Hollis, which were great, where I got to know a little bit more about you as a business. Now we've expanded that reach to also introduce you to department directors. We want you as a small business to be able to communicate and effectively communicate your services and goods to directors that could potentially release programs and projects that entails or desire your services. And so we do what we call the small business or departmental utilization meetings. And so we want you to be able to speak to and get to know the directors. We want the directors and other members of the city to be able to know who you are and what it is that your business and services, goods and services entails. Stakeholder collaborations, that goes back a little bit to the Big Connect, but we have various community stakeholders that partner with BID in the city of Miramar and are doing similar things to help businesses grow. We want you to continue to have strengthened those connections, and we do that through stakeholder collaborations. And last but definitely not least, economic impact. And we want to do measures to have more inclusion. So we have developed two particular programs that I'm going to give you a little bit more information about in a minute, but they are a direct result of the BID Act, and we want to implement the measures that we've committed to in the BID Act to ensure more inclusion for small minority as well as local businesses. So some of the BID programs that we've implemented since the BID Act as well. The Minority Small Business Enterprise Program, the Minority Women Business Enterprise Program, the Local Micro Business Program. We have a couple of other programs that are going to be coming out. We're looking into a construction advisory committee as well as a goal monitoring advisory committee. Those are some of the measures that are going to be implemented, and we're exploring and finalizing as a direct result of the BID Act commitments that were made in the Act. And as for the other two programs to support businesses themselves, now since the passing of the BID Act, we now no longer just request our prime contractors that are successful in securing city contracts to have job fairs, but now is become a contractual requirement. And at those contractor fairs, businesses are allowed, the primes are come available with the percentages, with outlined scopes of work that can be made available and are going to be made available to businesses. Businesses come to those jobs fairs with capability statements with an outline so that the businesses have an idea of exactly what you're capable of performing, whether or not you have bonding capacity, whether or not you already have insurance in place. So those capability statement, which is something that our speaker today, Ms. GAIL BIRKS, has actually successfully assisted us in securing and helping other businesses know how to write capability statements. So again, I'm so glad that she's on today and she's going to tell you a little bit more about herself later. But if you do not have a capability statement, it's definitely a viable tool when you attend a contractor fair with the city of Miramar, because that is the tool that we will need you to be able to supply to the prime contractor to ensure more inclusion, and so that they have a clear and concise definition and understanding of exactly what it is that you as a business can bring to the table and what value, more importantly, you can add to the project. We also do upcoming contracting opportunities each quarter, where in which we literally, and this is an initiative that came as a direct result of a small business and businesses who attended contractor fairs, communicating to city leaders that they needed more advance notice, which again, as I alluded to earlier, was something that the disparity study said that we can do a better job of. But we got to hear from an end user that here's a viable way that you can assist us as small businesses. Allow us to view the scopes of work that city projects will be releasing in the future, and then we can best position ourselves to either develop teams to come at that project collectively as an organized team of small businesses, or we can identify various scopes of work that perhaps we can then approach potential prime contractors at these bid meetings and pre-bid meetings to let them know, here is what I can add value. And based on the scope that I've reviewed, having had the advanced notification through the bid program, here's the scope of work that my company can offer. And I'm hoping that you can add me and make me a part of your team when you, prime contractor, are submitting your bid with the city of Miramar. So we have upcoming contracting webinars where we pre-tape all of the information of upcoming contracting opportunities. We literally have the project managers from the departments that are releasing those bids and will be releasing those solicitations to come on board and join me and to go into critical detail of exactly what they will be looking for in terms of small business inclusion on those particular contracts. They go into great detail about the measures to which they have gone to ensure more inclusion for minority and small contractors by making smaller components of contracts. So that is definitely something, if you have not attended, we follow up with various flyers like you see here. We send out that information. Please, please, please position yourself to take advantage of those opportunities, because it's definitely those are the tools and the support systems that we have in place to help you grow your business and to get more contracting opportunities with the city of Miramar. Last but definitely not least, we have a 2022 calendar with BIRKS, whereby we give you an at a glance view of all of the webinars we will be hosting throughout the year. Each and every one of you that are on today and have registered, I will be sending out not only the flyer, the 2022 calendar, so that you can have a full understanding of everything that we'll be implementing in the future. I will also send you the flyer for next month's law clinic, where we're partnering with Nova Southeastern University, so that you can take advantage of that as well. Now, let's get to today's webinar. I am so happy to let you know and to introduce to some and to reintroduce to others Miss GAIL BIRKS. She is our presenter for the afternoon. She is the individual that has not only come to the city of Miramar and participated with various bid programs, but Ms. BIRKS is also an individual. I'm going to stop sharing this screen in a minute. She is also the individual that has, let me get back, just bear with me 1 second. And it's
You're muted.
She is also the individual. Thank you so much. Hit the button trying to show again. Thank you, technology. You gotta love it. Ms. Burks is also the individual that has successfully secured contracting opportunities with the city of Miramar. She is the owner of um, two businesses that I'm proud to tell you about, and she'll tell you a little bit more about CMA Enterprise, as well as her other edu, how do you say it? Edu-trainer,
Edutainment.
edutainment company, and I'm so excited about that. She continues to be a viable tool and a small business that we definitely want to spotlight. Often, when businesses reach out to me and ask me, Dr. Hollis, I don't know how to write a capability statement. Dr. Hollis, I'm struggling in this, that, or the other area. GAIL BIRKS has been a viable tool that we make available to a lot of small businesses. Following, she assisted the BID program in implementing and helping businesses write capability statements. More, I think it was back in 2019 when we were
It's been a
meeting in
couple years.
person.
Yeah.
Yes. And several businesses since then, whenever they reach out, she is definitely my go-to. I give her, she allows me to submit and allow other businesses to review her capability statement as an example of what it is that you should and could do in terms of advancing yours. But you've heard enough from me about Miss Burks. Now I would like to introduce and allow Miss Burks to speak for herself. And from the presentation that you get this afternoon, you will definitely get to see why it is that the city of Miramar has partnered with BID to ensure that we spotlight this business, because the tools and the resources that she makes available to you as a business are definitely those that can greatly enhance and to help you grow to the next level. Without further ado, Ms. Burks, please take it away.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to be here. If you give me just a moment, I am going to bring my screen back up, and please give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen. Can you see the presentation? Okay, great, great, great. And thank you so much, Karen. And I also saw Anita on the list of attendees as well. I'm so honored to be here and to be an active partner with the city of Miramar. We are and have been for I'd say about three and a half years now with you all. I want you to know that patience is a virtue, and so is tenacity. We are tenacious. We're patiently tenacious, and it took us literally 5 years to get into the city of Miramar. Not because we weren't qualified, but because there was a relationship building process that we had to go through, and we had to get the right advocates in place. And folks, I can tell you, if you don't have Karen as your advocate right now, you better get her. You better grab her quick, because she is an advocate for us. I'll put it like that. So in the hour that I'm going to be with you today, we are going to talk about building your value proposition. And please don't hesitate to interrupt me if you've got a burning question that you want to add to the conversation, because I do love to interact regardless of whether we're virtual or not. It's really important for me to understand that I am touching you and the buttons that you need to flip on to make things happen for you. And guess what? That's how you get in the door with your clients. You got to know and understand how to flip those buttons on. I've been doing this for over 31 years, going on 32 in June. And before that, I spent over 9.5 years in the banking and finance industry here in South Florida as one of the top business developers and client relation managers in the banking industry. So I was able to glean my skills in that regard, in addition to the technical skills that I brought with me from corporate America. And that is how I have been able to sustain myself. The other one was because I was not afraid to partner. Don't think that you can do it all by yourself, because you can't. When you come to an entity like the city of Miramar and some of the others, the first thing they're going to say is, how big are you? My response has always been, well, how big do I need to be to get this contract you're about to sign with me? Because I definitely have the partners that can do it. That yielded a lot of opportunities for us. We just signed a $156,000 deal with the city of Miami. Phase 2. First phase was another 150,000. So we did it because of partnering. People, as much as they say or admit they want to do business with small businesses, they don't. So let's just get that on the table right now. They don't. They want to see that you've got a bench to work from. All right, you got to have a bench. So when you talk about your value proposition, they want to know the structure of your organization. What's the internal structure? What's the external structure? When I look at the internal structure, it's your traditional and your non-traditional. Who's inside the organization helping you run it? Excuse me. Who do you have in terms of specialists that can help you serve your customers? On that external side also, do you have an attorney? Do you have an accountant, a CPA, not a bookkeeper? Do you have an accounting firm working with you to make sure that everything is as it should be? What's your experience in providing tier 1 and tier 2 products? In other words, when I say tier 1, everybody, and I'm hoping that I'm preaching to the choir. When I say tier 1, that means prime. Have you served as a prime contractor, tier 1? And in that tier 1 position, have you been able to bring people in underneath you? Okay, that's tier 1. That's how tier 1 works. Are you or have you ever been or do you have experience as a tier 2? And tier 2 means subcontractor. Here's that tier 1 and they bring you in. Have you got good experience in that regard? You've got to show some flexibility. We ended up being a tier 1 just by default because when we talked to a lot of the tier 1s that are out there, they saw the capacity and depth of what CMA brought and it got them a little nervous. And we're like, we don't have the big name brand that you do. We can be a great support. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And a lot of times we ended up just bidding outright. And guess what? We usually won because our fees were cheaper, but we didn't sacrifice quality. And we brought in senior people because we got it like that. So understand that you can be a strong tier 1 and compete against the big boys and girls out there if you've got the bench. You can play it like that. How long have you provided this type of product and service and where? Let me tell you a little bit of I don't want to say finagling, but again, because I'm a business developer, I'm a marketer, I'm a brander. When someone said to me when I first began my company, well, how long have you been doing this? Well, I've been doing this for over 9.5 years under another company umbrella. I'm now working with a new company, but the experience continues forward. Are you all with me on that? Just because you think you're a brand new business out there doesn't mean that you just got off the spaceship. So do not discount your experience just because you started a new umbrella. That just moves underneath the new umbrella and continues the story. It's a new chapter. And you can always say, well, under our new chapter, this is how long and this is the experience that we bring to the table. It's just like people saying, well, how many people you have in your company? Well, how many do I need for this project? Because my business model says that we bring in the amount and number of people and experience to support the projects that we do. We have an accordion company. We expand and contract. Y'all with me? Am I preaching to the choir?
Oh, yes, you're doing an excellent job, Ms. Burks.
Okay.
And I cannot tell you how imperative it is for businesses to be able to understand that, because you, as a small business that opened initially, if you've been working at an organization like Ms. Burke for 24 years, and now you're no longer with the construction company, but you go out and you were a scheduler with that construction company for 24 years, and now you open a scheduling, when you submit your solicitation, it's not about how long your business has been open. Don't underestimate the value that you have 24 years of experience. That's a critical thing that we try to do to ensure more inclusion with small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses. We help, and procurement is an intricate part of that process. And we have measures in place to ensure we're able to calculate that experience and use it toward your ability to secure contracting opportunities. So thank you so much, Ms. Burks. Please, please, please do not forget, you are the business, you are the tool, you are the commodity as a small business when you're doing it.
Exactly.
So don't underestimate the value of your prior experience, especially once you open a business that's directly related to what you did for a big business before.
Yeah. People buy you. They buy you before they buy the actual product and service. How many times have you seen someone's product and it's like, ooh, 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 how do I put it in words? But yet when you meet the person who sold it, it's like, wow, what a great person, what a great guy, what a great gal. I love them. They got you right there because you bought the person. And they sold you in this great experience. And the product was crappy. And you still loved it because it was them. But it couldn't do anything with it. So buyers have to keep a clear head, and suppliers have to understand it's a what have you done for me lately world that we live in. No matter how wonderful you are, you're only as good as your last successful engagement. Nobody remembers you if you've got a blip on the screen. It takes a minute, but you can recover if you've got a great track record, however it looks. Are you investing in yourself? Industry certifications, advanced technical degrees, continuing education courses and credits, organizer capacity building. In other words, capacity building for your company. That's, oh my gosh, I cannot tell you in the 31 plus years how much I've invested in myself because of when I was in corporate, I had corporate to pay for my training, and they did it well. They did it. They told me I had to give other people lessons, I mean, opportunities, because I was always there when they had something that was available. I was there. Nobody else was jumping up to get it. But I invested in myself. I'm a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt practitioner. I sit at the top of the shelf in the universe of performance and process improvement. I paid for my own master's degree. I continuously committed every year to do professional development. It's important. My organization, I cheated with Miss Dr. Hollis. I don't have two companies. I now have three. I have a company now that exclusively does the digital divide and content for me. And guess what? It went fully live when the pandemic hit. It was sitting there ready. All we had to do was flip the switch all the way on. So, building the capacity now put us ahead of our major competition. What are you doing to invest in yourself? And yourself meaning your company, your colleagues. We're about to sign what's going to be a 4-year, $1 million per year contract that will take us globally. And folks, let me tell you, it's going to let me bring in some of my colleagues of color who are also certified in this industry certification of lean. And it's going to let me sponsor them and pay it forward. and get them to the level where I sit. We will be an awesome team when we're done with this. So how are you doing this and paying it forward as well? I commend you all on taking the time today with me, because really this is going to be some food for thought for you. When you look at training times and investing time, everybody always says, I don't have the time. So we heard that as a company, and we said, well, if you don't have the time, then we have the venue. And we set up what was called an a la carte. You press the button, you work it as you need it, and so forth and so on. So when you have the time, you go in, you do what you need to do. You get the training that you need. But the training will give you better marketing position. When I walk in a room, when my colleagues who sit on my teams walk in the room and they say, CMA is here, everybody knows what that means. They know that the real deal has walked in the room. So it gives you market positioning. The greater opportunity comes also for becoming a prime, whether it's small and medium engagements or large engagements. If you have the opportunity skills, you can run as a prime. We became a prime out of necessity because we could not find primes in our industry that were, I'm gonna be nice, I'll be nice, competent to close the deal. I'm a closer. I'm a closer. If you're going to sub with a prime, you want somebody who's a closer. And what I mean by a closer is when they step to the plate to respond to a solicitation, their winning success rates are high. That's what I mean about a closer. You've got a horse race, win, place, or show. Do you go with somebody who just places? Do you know somebody who just shows? In other words, they just show up. Or do you go with somebody who goes for the win? Me personally, I like the ones who go for the win. It takes a lot of time to put these proposals together and respond to them. The perceptions of the caliber of professional or company that you are. Come ready. Come ready. I'm a boutique consulting firm. And guess what? I have E&O insurance. I have general liability insurance of $2 million, $4 million. My E&O insurance is 1 to 2 million aggregate. I've run into people in my industry and I said, everybody who works with CMA has to bring E&O insurance proof. I need a certificate. I got to have one. You got to have one. I've had people say, I don't even know what that is. You can't be in the consulting industry and not know what E&O insurance is. You're impacting people's lives and their organizations, and you don't have E&O insurance, I will not do business with you. So make sure that people come ready. That tells me the seriousness of your intent to be in business. And if you're looking to partner with me, it tells me how serious you are in doing that. And training also opens opportunities for broader opportunities because the word gets out in terms of what you do. Folks, it is a game changer. A game changer. It is phenomenal for networking. Jump in if you have any comments.
Well, the only thing I can say is you're doing an excellent job. And I want you all to understand that Miss Birks is a small business. And so she is clever at what she does. She is the individual that you will be able to call to get you to assist you to get your business ready to be able to perform at the capacity that she does. She does these services at a cost because she is a small business. So all of the information that she's making available, you'll notice she's giving you these cliffhangers, which will make you do what? have to reach out to Ms. Burks if you want to know what an E&O insurance is and how she can assist you in securing things and how she was able to market and she can assist you with those things. She will be making that information available to you at the end. But just know you need to see why we're spotlighting businesses. And when we spotlight businesses, is so that you can put your value out there, give those and encourage and make sure you leave the carrots so that they can understand the value that you not only bring, but how they need to follow up with you if they're looking to move their business forward. So continue, Ms. Burks.
Okay,
Congratulations.
thank you. I want to touch a little bit on performance-driven procurement training. And you remember I talked about, the training opportunities and outcomes. Well, I've got two different sides of it. And this is what we offer through CMA. For suppliers, if you're new and emerging, do you know the alphabet of being in business? I took the time to walk through the business plan course I developed for entrepreneurs because at that time I needed one. And when I finished, there wasn't a question anybody could ask me that I could not answer. And I also wrote a marketing book out of it as a result of it, which is a part of that class. There's the Lean Business Leader, which gives you some language of conversation when you talk about scheduling, when you talk about forecasting, supply and demand, managing by metrics, human resource administration, and other skill sets of managing branding and moving your organization to the next level. Project management preparatory courses. You may have a business all day long. You get a big contract with people in it, but if you can't manage it, if you don't know how to cost it and price it and ensure that you are on target and how to check in not only with your people but the client, you're not going to make it. And our classes in project management have continuing ed credits attached to it. Ooh wee. There's the outcome driven contracting supply chain, which helps you to understand as an entrepreneur that operating supply chain that your buyers look at, and some of the bid negotiations that you want to get into. Guess what? More often than not, you don't know you're in negotiations when you're in negotiations because they're not going to tell you. They will call you and say, well, what about this? Or we want to schedule this call with you to verify pricing. Well, I know that when I get those kind of calls, not only have I won the bid, but bing, 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 we got final negotiations going on. They're not going to tell you that you are in negotiations. You got to be alert at all times. We talk about that in these courses. Branding and being shelf ready. Are you shelf ready? Or do you come with a label that looks like my 7-year-old grandson put it together and say that, okay, here I am, and then get upset when the client says, well, no, we're not going to do business with you. You're not ready. And you're upset because you gave them a business card that said you were in business, that said you were ready in your mind. You're not. So you got to be ready. If you are a consultant or an advisor or a practitioner, just because you have a business card or you went to one of the brand name coaching academies out there, the global that are out there, does not make you a practitioner. I set up a practitioner academy for people who want to go do those kind of things based on the rules of the road from 31 plus years. And then there's the customer service and relationship management side. Folks, when you get the deal, that's just the beginning of the marriage. If anybody's been married once, twice, 3 times, you know that the first couple times you screwed it up because you didn't do relationship management. We walk through relationship management with you. Let's look on the buyer side. You see, I've got some similar titles over there. The outcomes-driven contracting and supply chain. Oftentimes, a lot of times, you may run into buyers that are new to their jobs and they don't know the procurement process. You might know more about it than they do. The one thing that you want to know and understand, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, when you enter that procurement process or you identify a target that you want to do business with, you need to know their operating chain. You need to know their supply chain. You need to know how and where the acquisitions are originated. Not when they're issued, that's too late. You need to know who and where is originating the requisitions. You need to know what's the allocation, approved allocation for the recognition, for the acquisition. Dr. Hollis, am I wrong?
You are absolutely correct.
And what's the protocol for approval before it even gets to the street? I tell you, by the time it gets to the street, it's too late. So we walk you through those kinds of things. If you're a buyer, or whether you are a supplier, you always want to be on the edge of advantage when you are talking about working with an organization. And it will raise your antennas in terms of who you really need to be talking to. For buyers, that customer service and customer relations is important. Knowing your vendors. Dr. Hollis could teach this course blindfolded, backwards, inside out, upside down. She could teach this. This is important. The buyer has to be as cognizant of who the suppliers are as the suppliers of the buyers and advocates. It's huge, 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 huge. The project engagement and compliance. You heard Dr. Hollis talk about that. You need to know who is my watchdog when I get on this project. If something goes sideways, I need to know I can call her and say, look, I need your help. There's some halls I can't walk in, but you can. And conversations that you can have, I need you to have them. This is what's going on. And she'll tell me the real deal and what's going on, whether I can do anything or not, she'll let me know. Lean Six Sigma, only because I'm an advocate of it, but but there are streamlined processes that even in government bureaucracies can be utilized and put in place to get things done. Suppliers can use this as well. And the Lean Business Leader is one of those from the Lean Six Sigma. And project management. There are different sides of project management in our academy that you need to know and understand, regardless of the side that you're on. If you have a universal understanding of the client's procurement process by understanding the right questions to ask, you will get a lot farther than some folks who are trying to do it as they make it up. We learned real quick, and I'll give you a free tip. We learned real quick to ask about what's your threshold. How many of you know what a threshold is? When I go to a buyer and I say to them, what is your organization's threshold? Or what are your spot buys? Let me see some hands up. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Open your mics and talk to me.
I'm looking in the chat to see if we have any questions coming. None so far, but that is definitely critical because when you know what that is.
Know what a spot buy and a threshold is. Give me some nods. Give me some thumbs.
I'm getting nothing from the crew, but I remember
Gabriel,
as a small
do you
business.
know what a spot buy and a threshold is?
Come on, Gabriel.
Maybe I know what it is with another name, but not with that name. Threshold and spot buy?
Yes.
No, not really. I don't know.
Okay. Let me tell you all real quick what those are. Those are opportunities for procurement that don't have to go out for formal bid. There is either a level that lets the buyer just make what, 3 calls? Get 3 quotes?
3 quotes.
3 quotes, and they can hire you. I have also moved that sideways a little bit, and I sit in what's called a library. I sit in the City of Miramar Library. I also sit in the Broward County Library of Consultants and Professional Development Providers. I seek those out. Why? Because that's a 2-year contract. It means that my prices are set. I am pre-approved. When they have a need, they go to the library. If I'm doing a good job, I'm going to be a preferred selected provider. Oh, wait. Is that cheating? Only to those who don't know about it. If you see people who are saying, why is GAIL getting so much business? Well, because GAIL learned the system. GAIL is in the library, which got her pre-approved. As a small business, I don't have time to do the one and dones. I don't have the capacity to do the one and dones. So what I do is I look for the 2 to 5 year contract opportunities called libraries or pools. It doesn't matter what it is. I know they have them a lot in the contracting industry, the architects, accountants, and what have you. I advocated for one for Broward County. Broward County now has one in my category because I stood before the county commission and told them they needed one. I did throw a lot of people under the bus about it, but they survived. I am now one of their preferred vendors. My courses that I do for them have waiting lists. Get into the libraries. You won't regret it.
And we have webinars that we've educated individuals about the webinars of the libraries that the City of Miramar make available.
Absolutely.
We have architects and engineering webinars. We have various libraries, and we have a recording. If you send me an email, I will send you a copy of that recording that we literally partnered with our procurement department educating businesses. This panel, even this information today, you would think that 40, 50 businesses would be. We host these webinars so that we can educate you and provide you with this information so that you can have the tools and the resources that you need to grow your business. But we continue to try to make the information available. If you know of someone else, we will give them, make that information available to you. And Ms. GAIL, another part of a threshold that you did not mention, because I once was a small business, when you're dealing with procurement, you need to know the buying power. I was able to go in as a small business owner, and I was able to say to that procurement director, Mr. Frank Hayden of West Palm Beach, I know you have a buying power of $50,000. And Frank Hayden, you do not have to put me through the solicitation process. I was a new business owner. Here's the services. I came with a proposal, had a bottom line of $50,000. I was able to tell them, which Frank Hayden says, let me know what I need and how you can fill that need. Here's what you need. Here's how I can feel it. And I would do that for $50,000. Why? Because I knew his threshold was $50,000. I knew he could sign a deal for any small business with that amount without having to go through the solicitation. Because as a new business, you do not meet all of the qualifications in some respects to be able to go through a full solicitation. So knowing that threshold when it comes to procurement and doing businesses, and attending Ms. Bird's class can teach you so much more. Yes, we have Procurement 101 where we do procurement training. We do not teach what she's teaching.
Yep.
She is going to be teaching you from an end user.
And that's called an unsolicited proposal. And that shows the client that you did your homework on them. On them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the majority of the time, if they are serious and they got a pain that they can't fix, or they know that they are overpaying for a product or service that you offer, and you can come in and do an immediate fix, oh my gosh, you are in the door. You are the knight in shining armor that has rescued the damsel in distress. And they will love you for it. They will absolutely love you for it. We landed a 5-year federal contract by doing that. And it is hard to get into the federal space, but we did it. We did it as a sub, and we are providing them with service support that they did not have, making them look good. That's what we do for our primes when we are a sub. So think about that. That will get you in the door more often than not when everybody's still standing outside trying to figure out which door to walk in. And just understand, free isn't free. Free isn't free. And it goes back to that statement of you got to invest in yourself. So just keep that in mind. When you do your own planning, ask yourself, folks, for every dollar that I invest in myself or in my company, how much do you want to see as a return on investment? That's a question that a lot of people don't really even take the time to think about. I know, because I did in my company, I had to do a lot of investment up front, and a lot of it was sweat equity because of the product development and research and design and platforms that fit our model and so forth. There was a lot of upfront investment over the years. But folks, let me tell you, now that all that is in place and has been in place, our return on investment is, for every dollar that we get back anywhere from 70 to 90% return on that $1 that we put in at this point. Who would not like to be in that position? I don't know that anybody would not raise their hand on that one. So know that if you put in the time and investment up front to position yourself, to build the relationships. Now, hear what I say. You don't have to be at everybody's networking function. You don't. Guess what I did when I realized, okay, my end users are not at the networking functions that I'm being invited to, but they are online on LinkedIn. If you are not using LinkedIn right now, I would strongly encourage you to get one for you individually, and then one for you and your company. One for your company. I've got 3. I am an independent corporate director, which means I have sat on boards in business and industry, corporate America. So I have a corporate page for independent director. That's all it talks about for GAIL. I have one that talks about me as a consultant, a trainer, an advisor. And then I have one for CMA Enterprise, because I was told by one of my mentors, you need to have a company page on LinkedIn. And so I did it. You can have as many pages as you want to, but don't make it too confusing. But LinkedIn is an ideal page for you as a business. I have gotten more business from LinkedIn, and I have had more decision makers at the highest level of business, industry, and government link in with me just because I'm on LinkedIn. And I've got my LinkedIn set up where when they do their search, I pop up. It's a way to do that where you will pop up when they give certain meta tags. I want to, in this last slide, I want to talk to you about performance-driven procurement in a different way. And I want to talk a little bit more about some of the questions that you need to, it's like, what is that? Oh gosh. The movie, the guy says, do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? Anyway. The questions that you need to have and the questions that need to come out of your mouth are on two-sided. You need to be ready to answer the questions on one side. You need to be able to give these answers on the other. When do I need to start getting to know the buyers and the end users? When you decide you want to do business with these people. And when you do, you need to be able to ask them, this is what I offer. Do you have anything coming up, or do you have anything out that's going to be expiring soon? And if so, when? We'd like to get to know you. We'd like you to get to know us. I know we can't physically invite you out to our place right now, but we open that invitation to you if that is what you do and the kind of business that you have. Do I have the capacity? If I don't, who are some of the members that I can invite to join me on this journey? It will be my find. I will be the lead, but who do I need to involve in this journey with me? So that when we walk in, we have a big city image. Do I know the budget or prior allocations, and can I beat them? Bottom line on that one is, can I match it and or beat it? If I can match it and give you better value proposition, I will do that. If I can beat it, I'm going to come and tell you we can beat that and give you more. And it doesn't hurt us one iota. What are the response protocols? When is there something called that cone of silence where I can't talk to you? Because that will happen when a bid goes live. You cannot talk to the buyer at that point. What is the decision and selection committee process, and how long will it take? Who else is responding? You always want to get the list. Who else is in there? Because if it's something like a library and you get locked out of the library, you don't get selected, then you've got a part two in your solicitation. You go after those people who got selected and become interested in being their subcontractors. You're still in the game. You are still in the game. Tier two. Tier two. How can I ask why and how can I ask why and how come if I'm not selected? Guess what? I always do that. And I do it because it gives me the opportunity to speak with the buyer one-on-one. It gives me the opportunity to really start building that relationship. It lets them believe that I'm having them coach me when I'm not. I'm really not. I'm just trying to get to know their thinking and how they think. It's helping me to understand. Well, yeah, I guess they are, but I'm sorry. I'll take that back. I'm getting them to help me understand the philosophy and the fabric of the organization so that when I come back again, and I always tell them I'm coming back. You will see me again. I'm coming back. And I'll be ready this time because I'm closing up the loopholes. I'm closing them up. It'll be real hard for them to say no to me the second time because I've closed up the loopholes. Guess what? Because you told me all those secrets I need to know. Thank you. Then as a buyer, and you got to look at yourself as a buyer too, because sometimes when you start this subcontracting on your own, when do I need to start looking for suppliers? Don't do it when the solicitation hits the street. It's too late. Do I, and if I'm a buyer, do I have the internal capacity or do I need to go out? Which goes back to that first question. What is my allocation? Is this going to be a one and done solicitation? Or is it multi-year? And if it's multi-year, oh my gosh, I've really got to make sure I like these people and that they're trustworthy and that I can send them in front of my client and not have to worry, because they will represent me the way I need to be represented, and they won't try to side deal me. Okay. And if it's one and done multi-year, if I'm a buyer with an organization, is this an organization that has a plan to grow with us as they grow and develop and flourish? Or is this somebody who is really more of a one and done or threshold buy? What is my approval process? Dr. Hollis hit on that. What is my approval process? Can I carve out a portion for small emerging businesses? And are they ready? I can only do it if they're ready. Otherwise, I end up putting it back in the big batch and it goes to the big company. So be ready. And then will they ask me why if not selected? I can guarantee you most small businesses never ask why. You never see them again. I'm in, Dr. Hollis will tell you, I'm in everybody's face when it comes to that kind of stuff. You told me no? What? I need to know why, please. Tell me why so that I can come back stronger. And a lot of times, folks, no simply means we don't know you well enough yet, or there's just something missing from your capacity that you didn't either share with us or you need to grow a little bit more. So, I mean, that's key. That all of this is key. I want to open it up for Q&A right now. I've dropped a lot of bombs on you all this afternoon in this hour. And I want to really open it up and hear from you so that we can have a conversation. And while I'm doing that, if there is anyone who's looking for more information, this is my contact. I can tell you we do coach businesses and individuals. So I do have a coaching plan. I've got people who they call me once a month under their coaching plan. I've got people who might talk to me a couple times a month or weekly. But out of those hours that they spend with me, they come out and they are so much stronger because, folks, we're not talking from philosophical perspectives. We're talking information and sharing information with you because we have been there. I have walked in these shoes, and I have set more folks straight who have shared information. And I've had people tell me over the years, well, you can't do business with us unless you're registered with us as a certified small or minority businesses. That is not true. That is not true. If you can go in and register in a portal that says procurement, you are registered and bona fide and qualified to do business with an organization. So don't let anyone deter you from, and what we do when we work with small businesses, we help to build the counter conversation that gets you closer to the yes. I'm going to stop now and open up the mics, invite the opening of the mics so that you can talk with me.
Excellent, excellent. Come on now. I'm looking in the chat. I've been scanning the chat each time you put it out there for someone to respond. Oh, Miss Jane Cabrera is showing her screen, which means she is about to ask a question. Miss Cabrera, take it away.
Hey.
Hey, thank you. I don't know that I have a specific question. That was really very informative and very helpful. What I would say is I'm like brand new to the process. Oh, and there goes my camera. Don't know why. Didn't intend for it to turn off. But anyway, if you can still hear me, I'm just brand new to the process. Oh, here I'm back. And in learning mode. And so for a new person in the process, I'm just curious as to like what you suggest for first steps.
What are you looking to learn?
Well,
And what is your business?
my business is coaching and training, executive coaching and training.
Uh-huh.
And I did actually respond to the city's library of professional consultants. So that was, you know, for a first timer, that was quite a process going
It
through.
was.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, and so
Were
that,
you
and I've
successful
done a
with
couple of
Jane?
trainings for the city.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to take like what I've done and build on that.
Are you out there trying to do it by yourself, or are you seeking people to team with? What's your strategy?
I guess both. There's a couple of things where I have attempted to team with other people, but did not get the bid.
Mhm.
But I've done both. I've bid on things individually, and I've bid on things as part of a team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say continue doing that.
Question, Jane, any success? Have you been successful with any bid as yet?
Well, yes, I've been successful with a couple of bids, but and I've had both. I've had hits and misses.
And then here's
And
the
you
better
will.
question. Remember what she alluded to a moment ago? Did you go and ask the why of procurement when you were not successful?
I did.
And then you learned and you were able to see. Excellent.
Yes.
Because as you may know, Jane, so many businesses, I was so happy Ms. Birks touched on that because so many businesses do not. And I remember when I came to the city back in 2018, a small business went to one of the leaders and said, I keep trying and I'm not getting any success with the city's solicitation process. And that leader had that business come and sit in the office with me, kind of like you did, Jane, in 2018 when I first came on board. And when I sat with this particular business, she said, I've tried like all of these times. And I said to her, are you aware that when you do, if you're not successful in a solicitation, you can come to procurement and ask why, and they will literally sit down and review your bid and explain to you what you went wrong? She had no idea. So what I learned in that session, and I did partner her with procurement, and we went over one of her bids. She just had a proposal that someone helped her write, and she would just submit the same proposal over and over again. She didn't make adjustments based on what they were needed. She didn't make adjustments if it was an invitation to bid, which is price driven. She had no idea. She was just submitting. She had paid someone to make this professional presentation for her to increase her capability and possibilities, and she kept submitting that. We were able to sit with her and explain to her on one of those, it was price driven, and she didn't even submit a price quote. All she did was all of the other things. And when she did that, so those are the types of things as to why. And I figured you had done yes would be the answer, Jane. So I was comfortable in asking you online because I know that you're one of the more professional businesses and astute to the procurement process. Now, again, Ms. Birks and Jane Caprera are not the standard. The procurement department, yes, we have training, procurement training 101. They do how to do business with the city. They will not go into those details that you will get from a GAIL BIRKS when you go through her training, because she's coming to you from an end user. More importantly, she's coming to you as a successful business, a business that's been successful in the solicitation process. So there are value addeds that are going to be included in the training that she makes available to you. When we do it here at the city, we're talking from an agency aspect. We're making sure that you knew the professional guidelines and that we're doing a fair and impartial transparency process, and we're just giving you the outlining of that process. When you engage
Let me
in
jump in. Let me jump in
yes.
on this as well. Jane, did you kind of understand what I do?
Yes, and I'd like to reach out and get some more information from you. And connect
That's
with
what
you.
I was that was like the right answer.
Yeah. So
Because
thank you.
when you get people, and I'm gonna tell you this, how long have you been in business?
In this capacity, about 10 years.
Okay, okay. And I'll tell you, I'm an overnight success that took 31 and a half years to happen.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, and this is not as easy a business as people might assume. The consulting business is very relational,
Yes.
and the opportunities to get in the door are very, very subjective. And I tell people, you and I go into people's laundry room before wash day.
Yeah,
So you being in this business, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
And we teach them how to sort it, put it in there, hot, cold, warm, bleach, no bleach, drip dry or dry or dry. We teach them how to wash and dry their clothes so that they are clean when they walk out in the street. And if they don't want to listen to us, then they can walk out with their dirty clothes just like they always do. So it is very relational, and that's not something I see will ever change. Your last name is Cabrera. Did you know I'm African American? That was a joke.
Okay.
It is, those can be roadblocks for people hiring you.
Mm,
So you can and have to be diligent in managing your value proposition to show that not only are you worthy, but if they don't choose you, it's a missed opportunity for them.
mm.
So you really got to come with it a lot more than maybe some of your counterparts, our counterparts. Um, but this is not an easy business to be in. It's very cutthroat,
Yeah.
and you can't do it alone. I've never ever done this alone. I've always had partners throughout the years.
Hmm.
And
I've
the
had a
city
couple
of
partners
Miramar
whose
is
I've
one of
had a couple partners whose throats I had to cut, but for the most part, I've had good partners along the way.
and the city of Miramar is one of those good partners.
Well, no,
That's a
I'm
great
talking about
segue for me to come
subcontractors
in. Yes,
from the city
but
of
we
Miramar.
have set this for 2 to 3. We did start a little late, so I
Yes.
really appreciate all of you that have stayed a little past and bear with us at the beginning for the technical challenges that we had. Thank you so much. I believe that silence is golden. I did not see any other questions, so those of you that did not submit any questions either did not have any because Ms. Birks did such an exceptional job in presenting the information, but more importantly, you can follow up with her. Thank you, very informative. That's in here. I have to leave for another call. I will reach out for more information, says Jane Cabrera. And thank you, Jane, for being on the call. Now, what are the takeaways? Let's do that quickly. Follow up with Ms. Birks. That's one of the takeaways. Number 2, if you want to know more information about the city libraries and how you can take advantage and the video I can forward you for the city libraries, please reach out and I will send that to you. Another thing, know that vendor registration is your first step to becoming a registered, to positioning your business to be able to do business with the city of Miramar. That comes through vendor registration. I will be sending a link and a PDF of a 1, 2, 3 step how to become a registered vendor with everyone that registered for today's session. Thank you all so very much for always supporting the business inclusion and diversity initiatives. And I want you to know, thank you, Ms. Gail Birks, for your exceptional information. And thank you for being a business worthy of spotlighting. We do business spotlight because we want and understand the value of you all also taking advantage of the resources that you can make available to each other. It's nice to be able to work with an agency, but you can also earn and learn a lot from other businesses, small, minority, and disadvantaged businesses that have walked the path that either you've gone or seek to go. And Ms. Birks is definitely, and CMA is definitely a perfect example to put before you to emulate. Thank you again this afternoon for joining us. This
Thank you.
concludes today's session, and I look forward to having you join us again in the future. Good afternoon.
Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye-bye.